Hey everybody, it's Suzanne and welcome to my channel. Well, today I'm going to tell you a little bit more about me in Germany and since the age of 5. But I also wanted to share with you my dog. This is Happy. Happy, say hi. Can you say hi to the people? Can you sit? Here, sit. Sit. She only sits when the camera's off. Okay, so Happy is a standard poodle. She has been wanting this little lovey here for the longest time, and I keep telling her, no, that's for the babies. She understands words, like she'll understand babies, and she has her own little baby, but she really wants this lovey. She really, really, really wants it. Are you gonna like shred it up? Because I know what you do. Yes, I know what you like to do. Anyway, come here. Okay, so she is 10 months old. She actually, she's still a puppy then, right? So she, but she's a great dog. She's the first standard poodle that I've ever had. We've had so many dogs and cats that have gone over the Rainbow Bridge. Do you want this little lovey? Should I give this to you? If you don't shred it up, because I know what you're capable of doing. But, yeah. I've had, I think, the most German Shepherds. When I go on to tell you oh, that was a nice shot of my feet. When I go on to tell you about my life a little bit more, I was dating this guy, and he said one day, he said, do you want to go and have our fortunes read? And like today, fast forward to today, see, I knew she was going to do that. You know, we're not to believe in all that stuff, but this was back in the 1980s, and he wanted to go, and I said, oh, all right. So we went, and the fortune teller that we went to did not know we were coming, did not know who we were, our names or anything, didn't know anything about us, because it was just, you just wait your turn. It was a community of mediums there, and they, it's called Lilydale, is where it's up in New York. But anyway, so he wanted to go, and you know, he went in, and he was the first one in, and this was an Indian a medium. He was an Indian guy. He Native American. He did an Indian prayer type thing, like before he would, you know, read you, I guess is what it is. But anyway, he said to the guy I was with, he said, who's Sue? Well, it wasn't Suzanne, but it was, you know, Sue. And he says, friend. Because he didn't want to say, because we talked about that before going, and we said, don't, you know, because we know how it is. You let them know, and it's anything about you, and then they kind of like do a general thing and stuff. And so, Happy, why are you killing that little lovey? Are you supposed to be killing that? I shouldn't give it to you. Be nice. Happy. Happy, I'm talking to you. Happy. Happy. Don't kill the lovey. Remember what you did to the troll? So, anyway, he goes on to tell him his fortune. Okay, so then he comes out, and he's like shaking his head, and he's got his, you know, finger over his mouth, like as in, you know, like shush. And so I kind of like looked at him, and I went, what in the world? But anyway, so I went in, and I sat down, and I was going through a divorce at the time, and he does his Indian prayer, like he does, and so then he was sitting there, and he says, my stomach hurts just like looking at you. I says, Yeah, well, I didn't say anything. And he said, there's a German Shepherd dog that sits by your side. Of course, not in this world, in the spirit world, but she sits there by your side. And that was my German Shepherd lady, who I think she was like 13 or 14 when she went over the Rainbow Bridge. And I didn't say anything. And he goes on to say, there's a lady going over your head on a tractor. She's on a tractor and she's like going over your head. And see, that would be my mother. She was on the tractor from morning till night, which I'll talk about that when I do my thing about Germany. So she was on the tractor all the time because we had a farm. And so she didn't, her thing was she'd rather be out in the barn and be in the house. But anyway, so I, didn't say anything to the guy. And then he said, finally, he said he said a lot of other things. And then, which, were true. But then he came to this part and he said, there's a man standing by you by railroad tracks in this is old, not in this world, in the spirit world. He's got passed. And I had no idea who that would be in my family that had passed. And he's standing by the railroad tracks in coveralls or unionalls or those things that railroad guys wear. And so I didn't know what, and I said, well, he's just getting confused. Well, anyway, because, who's going to believe in all that stuff anyway? So, I came out of there and everything, and I said, well, he was half right. He said some things that, I don't know how he knew about my German Shepherd dog lady. I don't know how he knew about that, but, I mean, you could guess. But, I mean, really, he could, I hadn't had any poodles, up until then. We had a toy poodle. I guess we had one of them, but not a standard poodle. But, anyway, he said I had a lady who was German Shepherd, and that was true. So then I get home and everything, and I said to my mother, I said, well, he saw you on the tractor. Of course, she's always on the tractor. So I said, he saw you on the tractor going over my head. And she says, oh, yeah? And I said, yeah. And I said, then he said some other stuff, and, I didn't make heads or tails of some of it, and other things, and he was kind of sort of accurate. So I said, oh, he told me this story about some guy, not in this world, of course, he was in the spirit world, he had gone past, but some guy by the railroad tracks or something, and I don't know what, that meant, what that was all about. And she said, well, that was my grandfather. That was Oma's father. I said, oh, he worked on the railroad? And she said, well, yeah, here's how that story went. So the story is he was a conductor and he, he conducted a train over in Germany on the railroad. And so him and his wife had my grandmother. Now, my grandmother was twins. And so she had a twin brother, Paul. So, they had a set of twins. And when Paul got, grown up, he also went to work for the railroad also. So, nobody knew at the time, but this is, the sad part. But one day, Paul, he knew the train his father would be coming on. And he laid down on the tracks, and when his father came down their tracks, he ran over his son. So nobody, knew why he did that at the time. My mother was saying, nobody knew why, but his father was very, very mean to him, nasty. He was kind of had a nasty streak anyway, but he was very, very mean to him. So he didn't treat him right or whatever, and there must have been you know, emotional feelings there. But Paul did lay down on the railroad tracks there, and the train ran over him. And from that time on, his father never drove another train, never engineered, never was the conductor of another train after that. But anyway, so yeah, that was, you know, really, really, really sad. And hey, Happy. So yeah, I wanted just to tell you about Happy. You know, she's standard poodle, 10 months old. I named her Happy because my stepdad, when we got to America, I'm still at 5 years old, right? I'm telling you about that, so I'm skipping all around. But when my mother did remarry, she married a man, and his nickname was Happy. So he would be my stepfather. So, and he was really a good stepfather. He was really good to me. So I always think of him, and I've had like screen names named Happy, and my dog is named Happy. And guess what? We're a Happy Baby Reborns Nursery too. So Happy is in my life a lot, in thought and prayer, and he's one of the people that always leave a special footprint in your heart, because he was very, very nice. He never yelled. He was just a sweet person, and he died of a very young age at 59. And so I'll tell you more about that later. But yeah, this is Happy. Happy, say bye to the people. Happy. Happy. I guess she's not going to say bye. Hey, Happy, say bye to the people. Can you wave? Say bye-bye, people. She's a very smart dog.